Have you ever noticed that the more you try to control things in your life, the more out of control you feel? Have you noticed that if you want someone's approval or validation, the more you want it, the more you kind of do weird things or your energy comes off different, and the less they actually naturally like you or approve of you or validate you? The thing is many times the more we try to control, the more we put our energy into things, the more we actually resist.
That is why you have to let go. Let go. Just let it go. Let go of what people think about you. Let go of how bad you think you need something. Oh, I need that job promotion. Maybe you're broke, maybe, so I can get that. But can you control it? Can you do anything about it? So a lot of people let things really, really bug them, right? Things that they can barely control. Here's what you can control. Okay? Think about this right now. Just take a deep breath, light up a candle, stare at the flame, and go, what can I control in my life right now? And you can only control your own energy and output. If you're worrying about other people and what they're doing, you can only control how you interact with them. No contact, right? Walking away from somebody who doesn't want you. So that's what you can control. So stop trying to control. Stop worrying about other people. Like, I have guys that message me all the time and they're like, oh my God, Kyle, I'm all out of sorts right now. I don't know what to do. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, what can you control? They're like, nothing. I'm like, go do some. So guys, when you feel out of control, go do something that you are in control of. Could be hobbies, right? This is why you need to do hobbies. This is why you need to be improving yourself to attract good, like, better things into your life.
And in this video, I'm going to show you the cure and what changes everything when you apply it, and it makes your life so much easier, more aligned, and effortless. There's something called the law of reversed effort. And this is a law that also stems from something called the backwards law from Alan Watts.
So this is also the same idea that's why getting an X back is counterintuitive, because the harder you try, the faster they run away, right? We know this. So I wanted to bring this sort of to the forefront of why this happens, because it's really important.
And it's exactly what I was sharing at the beginning, where the more you want something, the more you actually lack something. The more that you try to control things in your life, the more out of control you feel. Whereas if you would just go with the flow and accept things that are out of control, you would then feel more in control. If you would accept, a lot of this has to do with acceptance. If you would accept where you're at when it comes to wanting someone else's validation or approval, you were to accept yourself and feel natural about it and not feel weird or try to get something from someone else, then what would happen is people would just naturally like you more. So it's an interesting dynamic, but really what this has to do with is understanding that if we are approaching life in a way where our ego is trying to control things, our ego is trying to get things, then what happens is we are emphasizing that this moment right here isn't good enough.
So to add to that, right? You guys that are going through a nasty breakup right now, you guys are so hard. Jesus, that sounds awful. You guys are so hard. You guys are trying so hard to get your ex to pay attention to you, and you're trying to hurt your ex too because they hurt you. And just like, let's run this back, because he said this moment is not good enough, right? Let's listen to that again.
Then what happens is we are emphasizing that this moment right here isn't good enough.
So the more that you feel that way, the more that you feel like your life sucks, everything sucks right now, this sucks, I wish I could be, I wish I could have this, I wish I could have her back, whatever, right? You're just in a lower vibratory energy when you do that. So sometimes, and guys, we need to experience pain in order to grow, to get pleasure, but stop running away from the lessons pain is trying to teach you, right? So if you're needy, if you're insecure, work on these things.
And we end up re-establishing a sense of a reality that isn't where we want it to be. So in a way, vibrationally, what we're saying is where we are right now is not good enough. Where we are right now is not good enough. I want to be over there. And because we're in that energy and we're trying to get out of it, we're emphasizing, the trying itself is emphasizing that we're not where we want to be, that things are not okay, that I am not safe. And then we end up staying in a reality that is equal to that. This is why the more I've learned about personal development, the more I realize it's just complete bullshit. If we want to change ourselves, we want to make ourselves better, we want to read all the books, we want to get in and listen to all the seminars and do everything because we want to change, once again, we are emphasizing that there's something we have, or there's something that's outside of ourselves that if we got, we would feel good. Now, the key and the transformation of everything that I would like for you to get out of this video is understanding that attachment is the culprit here. It's attachment. If it's control that we're having trouble letting go of, it's because we believe, there's a false belief that is there, that we are attached to, that says, if people act the way I want them to act, then I can feel safe. Then I can feel good enough. If the attachment is on someone else giving us approval or validation, then the belief is, somebody else has something of mine. They have the validation, the love, or the support, and if they would just give it to me, then I would finally feel safe. So remember this saying just throughout life. 90% of all transformation is awareness. It's simple.
So that right there is why I tell you guys to read the books. Awareness brings on so much more growth than you think. Okay, let's continue.
Life. 90% of all transformation is awareness. It's simply becoming aware. The more aware you become, the more free you become. The more aware you become, the less effort you need to put into things. Because what you can then do is just let go of the false belief that says that you're not good, that you don't accept yourself. It's not necessarily what we're changing is like, oh, well, then I'll just stay the same and I'll smoke and just chill on my couch all day. Is that what you're saying? It's real. I'm not saying that. What it is realizing is the energy you're putting into things. If the reason you need to control life and have things happen the way you want is because you believe that that will make you happy, then there's going to be problems because there's an attachment there. And remember, attachment is the root of all suffering. What is the key to getting out of attachment? It's awareness. It's becoming aware of why you want what you want. For myself, I know that growing up, I felt controlled. I felt like, and I did, I literally had like a narcissistic army commander as an ex-stepmom from 7 to 15 years old. Didn't have any freedom. After my ex-stepmom left my life when I was 15 and my dad finally divorced her, I then had all this freedom. And it scared the shit out of me. It felt weird to be able to watch TV, even though I always wanted to watch TV. Then I was able to watch TV. Then I was able to actually eat enough food. All of a sudden I started loving food. Even to this day, food is something that I have to, not control, I guess that goes against what we're talking about in this video, but I love it so much, and maybe it's because I was deprived it when I was a kid.
Yeah, so this is something that you guys are suffering from too, going through a breakup, which is when you're in the relationship and it was actually toxic, but you're so used to it and you've become identified with it, you're still having problems letting go because you're like, at least I knew that she was there. At least I knew that I was comfortable here with her, etc. And now that you're alone and you don't like it, right? And I know, I get it. It sucks. But when you become free, now you can literally paint the canvas. You can become whoever you want and do whatever you want.
I was given a TV dinner at night and a bowl of cereal in the morning. And I was I weighed like 115 pounds until I was like a junior in high school. And my dad divorced my ex-stepmom. But the reason I share this is because I felt so controlled. Even after my ex-stepmom left my life when I was 15 or 16, I then created my own sense of control. I'd focus on my diet. I'd focus on, at first I attracted women into my life, specifically women, because I had a belief that women try to control me. It's the attachment to that belief that I had.
I had the same issue with women, but abandonment instead.
And therefore, I felt trapped in an old reality where women were always trying to control me. Either an ex-girlfriend that was really jealous, or it was like a manager that was like just like my ex-stepmom, controlling, talks down to people, manipulative. And it's interesting because we create the same childhood dynamics that we haven't healed until we heal it, accept it, forgive it, and move that energy. And the more I became aware of these different things, the less I felt like I needed to control things, the more free I started to become. And I recognize it even to this day in certain ways where just the other day I was looking at myself in the mirror and I go through these phases where I get in shape and I go through like a diet cut. I cut my calories and I exude more exertion of energy, and then I lose like 5 pounds maybe. And I feel really good about how I feel. And what happens is I start just going more into autopilot, and I might gain 4 or 5 pounds. Then I start looking in the mirror I just look at the fat on my body. I'm like, oh, there's this extra fat in my back right here, and what can I do about it? And what I've realized though, the energy I'm coming from is I need to change because it's almost like I'm not worthy unless I change and have that fat off of my body. But that's just my weird neurotic way of trying to control so that I can feel worthy. And what I've learned is it's not that I can't lose the 5 pounds or whatever, but the energy from which I am exerting it is just very unhealthy. And instead of trying to get somewhere else, what I'm focusing on is I'm focusing on the lifestyle of enjoying the process. Because what I used to do is let's say as an example of the losing the weight thing, I would crash diet myself. I would just not eat that much the next day, and it would be so painful, but I would do it because I want to get there as fast as possible because where I'm at right now isn't good enough. But what I've learned to do instead is to enjoy the process. To instead focus on the lifestyle. What workouts can I do that I actually enjoy? What food can I eat that's enough food that I enjoy even if I'm in a little bit of a calorie deficit? How can I enjoy the process along the way? And this mindset has changed everything. Now, in the same way, I used to make videos that I just thought would get a certain amount of views. I'd make videos that I would get approval from people. But remember, the energy from which and the more I would try, the more it wouldn't come. The less I try, the more I'm just being myself, the more people feel that, the more people like the content because people feel what I feel when I'm making the videos. But remember, 90% of all transformation is simply awareness, and the power I want to share with you today is that less is more. Subtract from your life to add more. Subtract. Subtract and let go of the belief you're not good enough. Subtract and let go of the desire that you might have that says that once I obtain this specific person, this, that, then I can feel good. The funny thing about personal development and transformation is that everything you want already exists inside of yourself. There's just beliefs that are there that says, once I get this, then I can feel happy. And I'm becoming aware of that in my own life in many ways because it's like as I've attained the level of success that I always dreamed of, I'm realizing that it's just like there's nothing that beats just feeling safe in your own body.
Facts. So I know that sounds kind of like, cliche or, hokey pokey. However, this is exactly the energy that you need to cultivate to have a great relationship, to have a great business, to keep your head on your shoulders, to have emotional self-control. Corey Wayne talks about that, having emotional self-control, being the rock, the mountain. If you are fucked up, right? If you're all over the place emotionally, you're having a hard time emotionally, you can't control yourself. It's because in the moment you're holding on to energy here in your solar plexus, usually, right? This is where you kind of feel that anxiety, right? Sometimes some people feel it here. But when you feel that, you're holding on to something, okay? You're holding on to trauma, you're holding on to grief, you're holding on to something. So becoming aware that you're feeling that and then saying, you know what? I don't need to feel this way anymore. And sometimes people carry they'll carry one traumatic experience onto another, and they haven't healed any of them. So they have to peel back the layers and go, okay, I got to get over that. I'm going to let that go. I'm going to release that. And then you move on to the next thing, right? So for example, for myself, when I went through the issues of abandonment with my mother, since my mother left when I was young, then I went into my first relationship and got my heart broken. And then my second relationship got my heart broken. Around that time is when I started to heal all of my shit. I started to go, okay, what am I doing wrong here? I keep going through the same things. And that's usually what brings coaching on, right? Okay, I want to change. I want to get help. I want to get better. I want to do better. I want to have better relationships, attract better women, etc. And then you start looking at yourself and I guess this is sort of the point of life maybe, but we need to go back and look at all the stuff that we're feeling and just understand that it does not control us. It doesn't need to control you. So your breakup right now does not define you. It will change you. It will get you to look at things, but what you do with that time will start to define you. What you do with it. So if you start working out and you become like somebody who really likes to lift and work out and focus on themselves and do all that, right? If that's what you do, and then you become, somebody who helps other people do that. Now the energy is starting to shift, right? Into the conscious world, because now you're cultivating your pain and you're turning it into something that can help change literal reality, because you're helping other human beings change their energies, which is going to help another human being change their. It just spreads. So
there's nothing that beats just realizing that the energy from within you is already there. I think a lot of times we're addicted to the dopamine. We've been psychologically programmed from society to always seek more, to not be good with where we are, to desire to be compared to other people on Instagram, to want certain clothes, certain features, certain whatever. It's just a hypnosis that society gives us to not feel good enough because the marketing consumerism fuels the industry that we live in. Imagine that instead, we just felt whole and complete already. And that, I mean, that wouldn't be good for certain brands and certain marketings and stuff like that. But the truth is, we are. And the more we come at it from the place of I'm already worthy, I'm already enough, it changes all the energy dynamics. Then you don't have to try so hard. So if you're finding it hard and you feel like the worse you're making things by like trying more and more, you can let go of trying. It's more focusing on being. That should be like the main focus of the video, the lesson that you get. And instead of the outcome, see what happens is the more you try, the more effort you put in, the more you're attached to outcome. It's become about the outcome and the false belief that says once I get that outcome, then I'll be happy.
So that's what you guys think about getting an X back, or that's what you guys think about, okay, I need to build up, I want this amount of money. So you can have goals, but again, he's talking about attachment, right? He's talking about attachment to those goals and letting those attachments form how you feel, right?
About the outcome and the false belief that says once I get that outcome, then I'll be happy, then I'll feel good enough. And the more attached we are to that, the more we're going to try. But the more attached we are, the more we're believing the false belief that says that this thing's actually going to make me happy. Whatever it is. If it's a person, realize the person you think is going to make you happy, it's just a belief that says that this person's going to make you happy. That's it. It's a story. And if it's not just that they're going to make you happy, it's that if you had this person, that then you would feel worthy and whole and complete. It's just a false belief.
Which is all bullshit. It is a false belief. Because before you met that person, you're fine. You might have been going through some shit, but you're fine. You just want that story to come true. The story you've been telling yourself about that person and the goals that you guys created together, right?
Remember, it's a false belief that says that this is going to make you happy. But remember, beliefs, stories, there's something you can have for a period of time, but you can let them go. They're not ingrained into reality. And it's not actually empirically true that you cannot be happy unless this person is in your life or unless this thing is in your life.
So just like what it said on the screen is you have the power to create new beliefs and thoughts and realities. So I really want to talk about that because that's why in this space, in the coaching space, in breakups especially, we talk about, you'll hear this from everybody, Coach Lee, all the way to, Art of Love and blah, blah, blah. But, and Coach Corey Wayne and Craig Kenneth and these guys, work on yourself. You hear this a lot. Because doing that will actually literally create a new identity and a new version of you, a new reality. And again, I know this sounds like hokey pokey, but that's what's happening. Like you start going to the gym, or you start hanging out with certain people, you start going out again, you start frequenting a new place that you go to, and then women are going to that same place, and you start meeting a new person, or you're like, I really want to work on my trauma, so then you end up meeting somebody who can really help you with that. I can usually, direct people to where they need to go as a coach because I've been doing this for a while, and I've met people along the way. So at the end of the day, you're creating a new reality when you focus on growth, right? Having a growth mindset. And that, I think, is just having more present moment focus along the lines of understanding what it is that you're trying to learn, right? Okay, I'm trying to get over this breakup. I don't need this woman anymore. When you fully realize that, you're going to go, okay, what do I do now? So then you'll go, I think naturally we go back to our individual energy and we're going to go, okay, I'm going to work on this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. I want to go back out. So the problem ends up happening when you get into another relationship and you're like, I stopped hanging out with my friends. I stopped going to the gym. I started eating this and I started doing this, and you just end up spiraling. Either because you're lazy or maybe the relationship is making you feel euphoric and high. And so you're like, I can let all this other shit go instead of being disciplined, right? I've done that so many times. Anyway, let's continue.
So really what this is about is letting go of the belief, the false beliefs that say you're not there already. When in actuality, you have within yourself the ability to feel the worthiness, to feel whatever you would feel once you had this thing, you already have it inside of yourself. But the key to this is being in the moment, enjoying the process,
right,
and doing things because it's who you prefer to be.
Right.
So it doesn't mean that I can't lose 5 pounds, but it's not being attached to the outcome, knowing that once I lose 5 pounds, it's not that, then I'm worthy. Because then what normally happens is then I feel too skinny, and then I feel like I need to gain muscle, and then I go through a process of trying to bulk again, and then it's like this cycle. So instead, what I've learned from all of this is to enjoy the freaking process.
I've said that a million times to you guys. Enjoy the process. Focus on the process. Be process focused, not outcome focused. When you do that, you're going to move mountains and things are going to change for you. Kyle, I'm not getting over it yet. And I know the process of a breakup is not delightful, but you're in it. So just focus on being in the gym. Stop trying to stop feeling things too. Guys will message me and they're like, I'm tired of feeling this way. I don't want to feel this way anymore. I'm like, I know, but you'll feel better in about 6 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours. It'll pass. And then I'll say, okay, go for a walk. Go listen to some of my videos. Go listen to whoever you want. Listen to a podcast, whatever. And then they come back. I'm like, how do you feel now? They're like, I feel neutral now. I don't feel happy, but I'm not feeling like I did a minute ago. So I'm like, okay, then what do you need to do then? Have a process for when you feel like shit, right?
What I've learned from all of this is to enjoy the freaking process along the way. Instead of making it about this, make it about the lifestyle. Make it about the energy I choose to embody now. It's like if I was like getting on YouTube back in the day, I was like, I need to make these videos to get views, to get validation, and to get to get out of my 9-to-5 job. Well, then I'm attached to outcome. But if I'm making videos because I enjoy it, if I'm making videos because it's who I am. So
just to touch upon that, whoever's still here after 21 minutes, 22 minutes or whatever it is, that's exactly why I started doing reaction videos. Reaction videos are something I've always wanted to do. Creating original videos is easy. I can do probably 10,000 original videos, but reaction videos and just adding my points to certain things is something I've always wanted to do. I used to watch reaction videos all the time. So like Tyrone Magnus, for example, I used to watch Tyrone Magnus like every day, right? And this was back like a long time ago. And like, you know, there's so many, but there's certain reaction channels, right? And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And it's getting, people love it. Like I'm getting so many more views and watch time on my channel, which is growing my channel. Coaching's growing and all that. But that's something that's more me. Like it's, again, I'll still do original videos. It's something that I'm still going to do that. But the reaction stuff is more who I am and what I like to do. It's kind of like, I look at it like a talk show, right? Just on a smaller form, because talk shows will bring up things like this and just kind of add their points to it. But anyways, keep going.
It's very different energy. You see, you do things because it's who you are, not what it'll get you. Then you're not attached. Because even if somebody stops watching your video, you still know that you're being the most authentic version of you. So the only thing that really matters and the only process to this that will really change your life more than anything else is making the choice to let go of the BS, the belief systems, the bullshit stories that you've been telling yourself, that you've been attached to, that you have been hypnotized into believing will lead to your happiness.
Right.
When in actuality, none of that will actually make you happy. You can be happy with where you are right now. I'm finally settling in and knowing that my home is where I am right now. Home is you being in your body. I say that because you've probably seen me move to Sedona. I lived in Sedona for 6 months, 3 months, 4 months. And then I moved to Austin, and I moved into the middle of downtown, in the middle of a big city area, busy. And then I moved from there. Then I moved into a different part of Austin, where it's more naturey, but then there were too many people. And now I've moved like 4 times the last couple of years. Because it's like, oh, I'll be happy once I get this. I'll be happy once I get this. What I'm realizing is I have to create that sense of happiness from within, that sense of security from within. And I vowed to myself now to stay in this house that I'm in now. I'm in nature. I love this. This house is beautiful. Got a nice view and stuff. And great lighting, as you guys can see. But it's my vow to be happy with where I'm at now. Because I can identify and I'm aware that what I was chasing and why I was moving so much was because of the dopamine. I just wanted to, oh, it's exciting to move over here. It's exciting to do this, excited to do this, instead of just being happy with where I am in the moment.
That's hard, guys, and it is tough. It is tough to do, okay? It's not easy, and I know it sounds like it's easy. It's not easy, okay? But, guys, it's a goal, and that's why reading Sedona Method, that's why reading Letting Go by David Hawkins and all these books will help bring awareness to your issues, will help bring awareness to what you need to focus on, so that then you can just cut out the negative, okay? Again, you're always going to need negative energy in your life. That's how you learn shit. Breakups are negative, right? But it teaches you something which inevitably makes you better, smarter, stronger, right? You adapt. So with that said, check the description box for coaching. And if you want to get in contact with me to help you through this, let me know. Subscribe to Aaron. He's dope as fuck. I'll see you guys in the next video. Done.